Well, hello, this is Jeff Gaudiosi, and you're on misplaceddraws.com where music comes to life. And my guest today defines the term living legend. He's written songs like Dock of the Bay and In the Midnight Hour, and he was a member of Booker T and the MGs, pretty much the house band at the legendary Stax Records. But he has a new band now called Steve Cropper and the Midnight Hour, and they're about to release a new record called Friendly Town. Please welcome Steve Cropper. Welcome, Steve.
Thank you, Jeff. I'm glad to be here. Glad
So
to be anywhere, but especially on your show.
now, Friendly Town is the second record with your band, The Midnight Hour. But on this
Right.
record, you have a new guitar player. So how did Billy Gibbons come to join the band?
Real short, we've been friends. Billy and I have been friends for years. Let's put it that way.
Mhm.
So he runs, or John Tiven, the co-producer of the album, runs into Billy at a girl. He said, I don't know where it was. He would know. Tiven would know where he ran into Billy. It was either Costco or some grocery store or something. He said, what are you getting ready to do? He said, what are you doing now? He said, well, I'm not doing anything right now, but he said, I'm getting ready to do a record on Steve Carter. And Billy says, oh, wow, man, can I be on it? Hell yeah, you do. So he helped write two of the songs, and he was on the album. But he was on tour when we did tracks. And two of them he wrote with us at John's house, two of them. And I think we did all of the tracks in 1 or 2 days. I can't remember, 1 or 2 days for the album. And that was Billy's idea, Friendly Town, and he had another one there that was his as well. So
Yeah,
that's how Billy got there. And same thing, Brian May. So John Tiven and Brian have been friends for years, sort of like Duck and I.
mm-hmm.
And they've been friends for years. So I asked John, I said, have you heard from, how's this song going on with Brian May? He said, well, I hadn't heard from him. I'll call him. So he calls Brian and said, oh, man, I must admit I'm a little behind here. He said, I must apologize. Too much stress. And John says, man, that's your song right there. And he said, okay. And I think before the week was out, he had the song done. We had, added it to the album. So John said, what we'll do this song? I said, I don't know. Put it a second, put it out. He did. It's out there now, as you well know, and it's doing quite well. So.
And now they're not the
only. For
only.
those who don't know, Brian May is with Queen.
Yeah.
For those who don't know.
And
they know Brian May. He just came out with that great movie that they had of Eric Mercury. What's his name? Eric Mercury? Not
Freddie Mercury.
This guy did out of Canada. Yeah. Freddie Mercury. Yeah. That's the singer. I'm sorry. I got it mixed up in something I was produced. Eric Mercury.
Now, they weren't the only guests on the record. You also had Rascals keyboardist Felix Cavallari. Does it
Tim Montana's on there, Felix Cavallari's on it. Mm-hmm. Different times, yeah.
Does it inspire
So the guy that engineered Eddie Gore, what'd you say?
Does it inspire you to work with all of this talent?
No, they're just friends. Just friends. They'll be just musicians from now on. Just friends. So Tim Montana's a real good friend. He came to a costume party at my house one time as me, and we hit it right off the bat. He's from Tim Montana's. You can't tell where Tim Montana's from. Tim Montana is from Montana, I guess. He now has he lived here for a while, but he now has a club, a casino, and everything up in Montana that he bought. So he went back. He's up there now, but he still comes in and out. He's Billy Gibbons, one of Billy Gibbons' best friends, I would say. Billy, they just hit it off. Billy doesn't have a lot of friends. He's got me, he's got John, he's got Tim Montana. And Tim came in and played his butt off on that album. And so it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Now, after all this...
I was talking in the middle of talking about Eddie Gore. Eddie Gore plays some of the organ parts. He also was engineer on it and mixed it. So he and I mixed the last album. He mixed this album by himself. He didn't need my help. So he didn't need my ear on this one. It is a great album. I listened to it several times. It's real good. And most of them I just play albums up until the day I finish them, and that's it. I play them 100 times before I finish. When I sign off of it, I never hear it again in most cases, unless it's on the radio. So I don't sit down and listen to albums like I used to, like the old days. I never did. I always listened to top 40. That was my chief competitor. Was the top 40,
Yeah.
top 10 or top 40, whatever the radio was played. That was my chief competitor.
Mm-hmm.
So I was never an album collector, never an instrument collector.
Now, back in those old days, when you were working with Stax and Booker T, and a lot of us just recently saw the great HBO documentary on Stax. When you were writing all of those songs, were you writing them for the specific artist, or were you just getting them out there and then the label decided?
Well, it depended. In most cases, we custom made those songs for the artist. Mm-hmm. A lot of times we didn't. So I think 6, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9 was definitely written for Wilson, who was coming in. And we picked Wilson. Eddie and I wrote about a week before, maybe the night before. We did a demo the night before he came in. The next day, we take him straight to the studio from the airport, hand him the lyrics. Eddie handed him the lyrics. And we played it for him. And about halfway through playing it, he watched it up, and I see it across my face. I see a wad of paper going across. I said, "Oh no, he hates the song." Next thing I know, Eddie there's a big guy flying tackle. So there's two big guys wrestling around each other on the floor. I said, "Oh no, that's called off tomorrow." Well, it wasn't called off. So when they get through wrestling, I didn't know they were in the same group. We used to do this all the time, and so Eddie says, "I'm going to take Wilson to the hotel." Wilson calls me after he gets there. He said, "What time are you riding tonight?" I said, "Oh, it's back on again." Okay. So as I'm pulling in the rain, Eddie's up there, and I pull in, and I see a Coca-Cola sign says, 99.5 won't do. Coca's 100% or something like that. Mm-hmm. So I'm admitting this now, 40 years later, or 50, who knows. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I went in, and I told him that 99.5 just won't do. So there it is. Yeah. We wrote that song. We cut 6, 3, and 99.5 the next day. 2 number songs. The day night written. So I don't know if it was custom made or not. 99.5 was because Wilson wrote it. Hmm. So I guess Midnight Hour was custom made, and Don't Fight It. You got to feel it. There you sit all by yourself. I think that was the one that Wilson came down with that he wrote, and I wrote with him. I'm Not Tired. I've been loving you a long, long time, and I'm not tired. We actually talk about Jesus, but we turned it into God telling us to his girlfriend. And I said, if God doesn't like it, he'll hit me with lightning or something. He'll let me know one way or the other if he doesn't like it. He never has not liked anything that I know of. I'm pretty good so far. So maybe he's serving me now. I've followed him about 3 or 4 or 5 times in the last 2 years. So maybe he's just serving me. I always thought of my mom. Maybe it's God serving me. Maybe he's making me pay for all that. Is that Django? Okay. My son has a new dog, and I said, "Is that Django?" He's carrying a little case of something. I said, "Is Django in there?" Little dog thing. All right.
Now
you can hear him.
Oh yeah.
It sounds like a cat. He's so tiny. He's only 2, 3 weeks old. Oh. 2 weeks old, I guess.
Now, I was lucky enough to be able to visit Memphis and tour the Stax Museum now, which is amazing, and the Lorraine Motel. And just the identity of that city is so tied in with the music and the race. But Stax was sort of different in that you guys were integrated. Did you ever feel a pushback from the community because the label and the band and everyone was integrated?
No. Let me tell you about Stax. There was no color at Stax. Mm-hmm. And the drummer, Willie Hall, said the same thing. He said, whatever Steve just said is the truth. There was no color at Stax. When you walk through those doors at Stax, it was better than walking in a church. It was just a bunch of musicians making music, that's all. We never did look at each other as different from each other. Anything outside was, I guess you went back to normal life outside, but on the inside of Stax, there was no color.
Mm-hmm.
and they all want to play the race card or whatever they play.
Mhm.
Every journalist I've ever known, and everybody always asks about that.
Mhm.
And we never did. We didn't think about it till after Martin Luther King got killed, and then we started thinking about it some. About there, maybe there is black and white. But they always call Memphis the most integrated city in the South. I didn't segregated city in the South, not integrated, segregated. And I said I never felt that. I never did feel that. You know, we did our thing, they did their thing. When I say we and they, well, it's different now than it was then. And now it's all sorts of stuff. They're just trying their damnedest to separate everybody. That's bullshit. I think it is. And we're still musicians or musicians. You're a musician, you're a musician. Doesn't matter what color you are, you can be any color.
Yeah,
You can be
100%.
red, yellow, green, it doesn't matter. If you're a musician, you're a musician. And you play your butt off. You try to impress everybody else by your playing.
Yeah. And unfortunately, now most of the band has passed on. You and Booker T are both still around, still active. Do you think the two of you will ever team up one last time?
There's a possibility of it. I doubt it. Same thing with the Beatles. I doubt it. I mean, why would there's a possibility, but they're all doing their own thing. And I don't know. I did talk to Booker about a year and a half ago, and I said, you know, if we went on tour together now, it'd be Booker T and the MG. Everybody else is gone.
Yeah.
And there's only two guys left of the original band. It's Don Nix. I meant to call him yesterday. I did or today, and hadn't called him yet. I got to call him as soon as I hang up.
Mhm. And now,
So Don Nix and myself are the only two guys left of the original band, the Marquis. And Booker and I are the only two guys left of the Booker T and the MGs.
with everything
Weird.
you've written and all of the great songs you've played on, is there one song that you could point to and say, this is the essence of Steve Cropper?
No, not really. I don't think so. The one I really like is there's two guitar things that I really like. One is called Nobody's Fault But Mine and Otis, and the other is Direct Me by Otis.
Mm-hmm.
And Direct Me, I think I'm tuned down to a D. To the E, I tuned the guitar down and started playing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Fogerty did. Most of it, he was tuned to a D. And that's why most of them you can't play. You try to play it, and you can't play the songs written in D, unless you're tuned down to it. That's weird.
Yeah. Now, going back to the new record, Friendly Town, will you be hitting the road at all? Play any shows in support of the record?
Well, I hope to. So there's Tibbin there. Hope to. I don't know. We'll have to see. The last time was COVID, we couldn't tour. This time we can, but you know, I've fallen. I don't know. I can't play anymore like I used to. I can't play like a teenager or in my 20s. I can't do it. So they say, why can you not entertain? I said, because I've fallen too many times. I don't know. Taking a lot out of me. And I'm stuttering. I can't, my brain still works, but my hands don't do what my brain tells us to do. In the old days, my brain would think of something and just play it. So it is what it is.
Well, we've been spending some time here with Steve Cropper. The band is called Steve Cropper and the Midnight Hour. The new record is called Friendly Town. It's a fantastic record featuring a ton of guests like Billy Gibbons, Brian May, and many more. Steve, it's been a pleasure getting to talk with you for a little bit. I wish you the best of luck with this record.
And you left out, when you introduced me before, you left out the Blues Brothers.
Of course. How can we forget the Blues Brothers? One of the greatest.
You didn't forget, you just didn't mention.
Well,
Badger, we don't understand. Badger, we're the Blues Brothers. Badger,
well,
where's your band?
Before we go, then, do you have a quick memory of filming the Blues Brothers?
I got a memory of all of them, especially John.
Yeah.
But some of the others, I don't have to have memory. Mm-hmm. They're all alive. So John is the only one I know of that's gone from the original band.
And what was it like when you were filming with him? Was he as crazy as it came across?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So Duck is the only one I know of that's gone besides John. Yeah. So Duck's gone, my good buddy Duck Dunn.
Yep.
And when I think about that, Duck is the one that So I think John went to Doug and said, "What's Cropper doing?" He said, "Well, he's working on an album." Well, so he called me, and I was in the middle of doing Robin Ford, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I hung up on John twice. And the third time he called back, he said, "Don't hang up. It really is John Belushi. Don't hang up. Steve, don't hang up." I said, "Okay." I thought it was a buddy of mine. He'd always come up with some stupid name, like the president or what stupid name. He used to come up with Steve Wonder or the president or something. And so I thought John Belushi, I thought it was him. Thought my buddy wanted to go to lunch. Because I would tell the girl, "Don't disturb me unless it's real important. If I'm mixing or cutting, don't call back." They don't. I said, I'll come out and then there'll be plenty of time to do that. So I thought that's why I hung up. So Robin Ford we were mixing his latest album, and Robin was down on the couch album. He wanted to hear everything. He stood up and said, "I'll do it." I said, "No, you won't. I'll do it." So I called John back. I said, first I talked to Bruce, who was the engineer at the time, Bruce Robb at Cherokee. And I said, "Bruce, can you mix the other two?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Just send it to me and I'll prove it or not disprove it. It's no problem." So I called John back. I said, "John, I can't get up there today, but you'd wait till a couple of days." I said, "I'll be up there. Don't worry about it." So Doug called me coming off the elevator. They took me from LaGuardia straight to A&R, to the rehearsal where the band was. They were already rehearsing. So Doug says, "Man, you got to go in there and do something." They're doing a bunch of old blues songs nobody ever heard of. Well, Doug hadn't heard of them. I said, "Doug, don't let me go in there now and do anything. Let me hear it first. Let me get to rehearsal." And so after rehearsal, I looked at John and said, "John, can you do something people can dance to?" He said, "Absolutely. What do you think?" And I said, "Well," he said, "Like what?" I said, "Like Sam and Dave." He said, "Okay." So I looked at Paul Silver and I said, "Paul, do you know Soul Man?" He said, "Absolutely." So I cut down on Soul Man. Everybody fell in. It's pretty cool. Danny comes out of the back with that crazy leg thing he does.
Yep.
Danny can't dance with a damn, but he was doing that crazy thing. He gave all the guys that can't dance a reason to be somebody. So they go out and do crazy stuff on the stage dancing. And they're just imitating Dan Aykroyd. Everybody says, "Yeah, man, that's great. You're doing the blues." So it is. So John at the end, he's wiping the sweat off. He said, "Man, that was great, but it's too high. I can't sing it." I said, "Okay." I just dropped it down to E, down to fourth from G to E, and we've been playing the E ever since.
Yeah. Well, again, we've been here with Steve Cropper of Steve Cropper, The Midnight Hour. The record is called Friendly Town. And again, Steve, it's been an honor talking with you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.
Best of luck with the record. Thank you. Bye.